Hi there. I just want to share a knowledge regarding how the application communicate. So this actually it will be for people who don't know about, who are not technical, or people who are technical but they don't understand what happens behind the scene, how the communication are handled. For example, when you access a website on a browser, any browser, it can be Chrome or Mozilla, any web browser, you type a link for a specific website. I just want to explain how the information travel, and also, for example, if you access your mobile, a certain application on a mobile, one of your mobile application, just also want to give a clue or an understanding how everything actually things connect, and then up to until you are able to interact with the application either on via the browser or a mobile. And basically actually it also usually for application that needs to communicate via the internet, they mostly share the same architecture in terms of how data is transferred over the internet. So basically here, I will not be explaining in details. It's just gonna be an overview. So in a later videos, then I will try to explain in detail each part of how the application communicate. So this time I will be explaining what we call three-tier architecture concept of application. So the application that we are familiar with, we know we have a web application and also mobile application. That's the application that we use most of the time. So the three-tier for web and mobile application, of course, we got a client, we got server, and we also got a database. So firstly, for someone who is not that technical, client, for example, is okay, for example, is a browser. When you request something on a browser or you search something on a browser, is something that is represented to you that you can communicate with. So when come to server, server is where it handles the communication, where the information is transferred from one system to another. And a database is where the data is stored into a system somewhere. So it actually is the storage of the data that you are requesting. So just to make them more clearer, a client is where like is represented to you. For example, um, I just said the browser, when you type something or you search a certain information on a browser, is what you are interacting with, or the application, the application in your mobile is something that you interact with, is a client side. So the server is something that you cannot see. When you type something either on an application or you click a certain request on a mobile application, or you search something on a browser, and then you press enter or you press search, that information, it needs to be transmitted over the internet. So what basically handle the transmission is actually the data is transferred via what we call the HTTP. Is something that I will not be able to explain now, because otherwise I need to go much more in detail. So basically is where the server comes, the data get transmitted, and depending what you requested, on the client side, either the browser or the application that you're interacting with, the data will be transferred by the server in another words, which is an API that handles the communication, and then request whatever the information that you need from the database, and also bring that information and present it back to you. Okay, so basically, once again, client is what you are interacting with, server is what transfer the information over the internet, database is where the information is stored. So basically, all these things can be hosted on a different hosting services. For example, a client, you request, you enter something, and then you press a request, and then the server, which in another words, the API that you develop, and then you host it on a server, it will transfer the information and then request whatever the information and bring the information back to you. That's the general knowledge of how the communications are handled over the internet. Just to make it a bit more clear, client is what represented to you. Server is where you host an API that handles the transfer of the information. Database is where the information is stored. So basically, that's the most simplest way of explaining this. Yeah, that's what I wanted to share with you. It's a very basic knowledge, and I think for the people who are not technical, they will get something. It will be a bit uh, uh, difficult to understand, but those who are technical, I think they will benefit a lot. So this is what I wanted to share with you, and thank you for watching. Bye.